Taking a look at the wing, which I already have removed from the car. This is the reflective decal. And I think I'm gonna actually cut out each individual letter for ease of install. But that's kind of the gist of it right there. And it should be reflecting for any cars with their lights on it from behind. I propped the wing up, so I'm working more towards the backside lip there. And I cleaned it with Windex, followed by rubbing alcohol, buffed it, got it good and clean and dry. And then I centered the decal left and right. It's about 2 inches from the mounts. And then I went with a black Sharpie and marked where each individual letter will be for the spacing. So that when I cut them out and apply them individually, they're still equal distance on the spacing. I've got each individual letter just lightly sitting in place. I use my marks as guides, cut out a little bit of the top vinyl just to make it easier. And I'm gonna recheck all the alignment, make sure it's uniform across the back edge, and then press it down. And this, by the way, is a dry application vinyl. I'll be using my felt tip squeegee to press out the air. Well, it's installed. That was pretty darn easy, cutting out the letters individually and just following along the edge. Now it's worth mentioning that the top of my wing has a PPF and it's wrapped over the edge. And I don't know if you can see it there, right there's, I went over the edge of the PPF. So you can kind of see it a little bit there in the reflection. But it turned out well. Oh, you can see the reflection in the light there, look at that. Nice. That's pretty cool. I got the wing reinstalled. You can see the subtle letters there during non-reflective times in the bright light here at my garage. The next project is a custom vinyl graphic that I contacted Benjamin from Bemaro Films to make. So you can see my top ghosted, if you will, or kind of semi-transparent Shelby up here. You see that, and you can see the carbon fiber weave come through the letters. I wanted Shelby across there and GT500 on the side. So I drew up kind of a rough draft of it and sent it to Benjamin, and he created it, so we're gonna see how it looks. I have it just sitting ever so lightly in place. I just peeled the whole backing off and lined it and gently put it on there. I think it's centered as best as I can get it. So I'll double check it and then use the squeegee, press it down. Got it on and it looks just like I envisioned. Love it. Nice ghosted, subtle graphic. Now it says Shelby across the top up here and GT500 on the side. The wing is done. I like it. There's just a little bit on the edge I kind of bent over and kind of wrapped, not much, maybe just a quarter of a millimeter. And then, and it was cut very well. So kudos to Benjamin at Bemaro. And then I'm gonna go over top with ceramic. And this one under here, hard to see in the shadows there, but there it is down there. For the side stripe install, I got my car up on the lift just for a better working height. I still have to clean it, but we're just gonna take a look at the lines here. So the side stripes come in 3 pieces. There's a fender piece, and we're dealing with different lines here, front to back. There's a nice defined bottom line on the front fender. This line kind of starts to disappear as we go forward on the top side. The door has a good top and bottom line for the length. And then the back piece, which is this custom CFTP carbon fiber track pack. Back here, there's a defined top line, but it's actually down. You can see the door line drops down, and it's starting to rain or hail outside. So we're gonna have to play with placement top and bottom. So due to this kind of weird line here that's offset from the door, I decided to do the aft piece first, and then base the rest on that, and I think it turned out pretty well. There is quite a bit of overlap that I tucked on behind the fender there, and I'm gonna probably trim that with a razor blade flush with the panel so it's not hanging over on that, whatever that material is there. The doors are going to be the hardest part because they are the biggest piece of vinyl. I use magnets, which you can do on the door only. This is plastic and the front is composite. But I use magnets to kind of get the stripe in position. Then I secured it with tape. I also trimmed very closely on this top edge just so I could see exactly where that stripe is to line it up with the top edge here. And then I use this body line on the door to make it uniform all the way to the front. And my plan is to do half of this at a time. Hopefully it works. So here's kind of my pivot point. I'll lift up the back half, peel off the paper, and apply it. I left a little bit of overlap on both the front and back to have some extra there because the stripe piece is just a little longer than the door. And here we go, hoping for the best. All right, the last piece of the driver's side is on, this forward piece. I left some on the front and back, tucked it in, make sure I cleaned before I did it back there. And you can still hear it's raining loud on my metal roof. This side I'm gonna trim a little bit because there's some excess, as you can see there. I'm just gonna trim it so it lines up with the inside lip of the fender. And then my Jaeger Brothers flat's gonna go on top of that. It's looking fabulous. Trim that up nice and flush there. And we're gonna take a look at the side stripe with the light on. I dig it. I still gotta trim that back edge there. Inside the door is tucked. Yeah. Like it. I turned off some of the overhead lights to get rid of some of the reflections so we can actually see the stripes. But they came out lovely. At least the driver's side. I got to do the passenger side yet. Loving it. I ended up just slicing that corner and then pushing in the material here and just wrapping around the backside versus cutting it off. But yeah, that turned out well there. Just finished the passenger side, and this part here again I tucked around the edge, or wrapped around the edge, and then I trimmed off the excess. That seam there on both sides I didn't trim. I just had a little bit overlap and tucked it behind, making sure to clean inside there before laying the stripe. I tucked backside of the door. I chose not to take the aft piece inside the door frame there because I didn't want it looking kind of funky there when I opened the door, so I stopped that one just short and wrapped in the back there and tucked that back behind the panel. But yeah, I'm liking it. Now it's time to cover everything with ceramic. For the ceramic coat, I just got a wheel kit. It's actually for wheels, but it's just ceramics from Adams. It's got a cleaner that I used before, and the silk, if you will, sponge. And I just did this body line to down to here, just where the stripe is. Let it sit for a while, and then I'm gonna buff it off. I got one coat of ceramic on the side stripes. I got my Jaeger Brothers mud flaps back in position. I'm gonna lower the car down so I can do the ceramic up on the wing graphics. But I'll eventually put on a second or even possibly a third coat of ceramic, but it's looking good. Just finished one coat of ceramic on the side pane graphic, as well as the under wing. That looks pretty cool. Here's the other side.